Hey everyone, Armor Gaming here. Lots of you have been messaging me about Crazy Week and who to buy. So Crazy Week is basically this week where monsters have massive discounts. They are super cheap, especially in groups of 3. So every monster is costing around 225 gems, or in groups of 3, 525 gems. Really good deals. It's the perfect opportunity to get whatever monster you're missing, whichever monster you've been wanting for a long time. I myself have been wanting Sarah for the longest time, so I'm going to be getting her. And like I say before, whenever monsters cost 670 gems, 690 gems, it's a terrible time to buy them. You always buy when there's deals like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and go straight down through the monsters, and it's not going to be a long analysis or anything. I'm just going to be telling you which monsters are good, which monsters aren't that good, who to buy, who not to buy. And again, this is just my opinion, so you don't have to listen to it by any means. So before I start giving advice on who I think you should get, I do want to say two things. First off, I want to say, make sure you get whoever you think you need. This is super important. Like, I might say get Barbatos. However, let's say you already have 20 dark monsters. You don't really need Barbatos. Yes, he might be like the best dark attacker in the game, but you don't really need him because you have plenty of monsters to choose from specifically for Team Wars. So let's say you have all the dark monsters. Let's say you have no for example, let's say you had no lightning monsters. I would obviously say get Voltaik. You don't need Barbatos, you need Voltaik, just because you need a monster to be able to participate in Team Wars and help your team out. So that's my first advice. Get whoever you need, and honestly only you know who you need unless you give me a list of all your monsters, but really that takes a lot of time. And to be honest, I'm just gonna say go look at like the top monsters. Normally if you play PvP, the monsters are reoccurrent. There's a reason they're reoccurrent. It's because they're really good. Second thing I want to say is I do apologize for not making this video sooner. I do realize some of these combo packs have already disappeared. My hope is that they reappear, and then you guys can decide who you want if they do reappear. The problem is, of course, that they're only here for a limited amount of time, and you need a lot of gems to get every monster you want. And I'm only going to be saying who to get in terms of the 3 monsters that are showing. So if you ask me to, like, let's say these 2 that are here, Barbatos or Metalhead, again, that's completely up to you because they're different elements. One's a dark and main attacker, one's a metal who can be a main deny monster or who can be offensive. So it's ultimately up to you. It's ultimately up to you and whoever you need the most. It's hard for me to reply to everyone saying get this monster over this monster because there's really no correct answer. Like any battle, I personally would probably pick Metalhead if I had to, because he has an AoE stun, where Barbatos, he doesn't have an AoE stun. But yeah, Barbatos is the strongest monster in the game, or the strongest attacker in the game. He can take out a bunch of people in one hit. But you know, it's really subjective. So that's my advice to you. Get whoever you need the most. And yeah, let's get straight into it. From this first one, Timerion is the best supportive monster, so I would definitely get him. Barbatos is the strongest dark monster, so I would also want to get him. Ogma is a good light monster. Honestly, if you had the gems, I'd get all 3. 525 gems is a super good deal. But if you had to pick one, I would get Timerion. Moving on to the next one, we have Uru, Luxe, and Metalhead. All these monsters are phenomenal in their own right. Metalhead, like I said, strong attacker, also really good deny monster. He has an AoE stun. Luxe is probably the best support monster, in my opinion, the best buffer, I should say. She gives precision and she gives double damage. She can also recover stamina and remove negative effects from your whole team. She's just amazing. I love using her on my team. Get her if you need a supportive monster. Uru, he's just a really good magic monster. Honestly, I missed out on him. I really wanted him almost as badly as I want Sarah. He has an AoE stun, which is awesome for magics, considering most magics are immune to possession. So this guy just kind of trolls them. He's like, well, I don't even have a possession skill. I have a stun skill. So he's awesome. Again, it really depends who you need most. I would personally get Uru, then Metalhead, then Luxe. But that's also because I have like 2 Luxe and 1 Metalhead. So again, it's really subjective. But Uru's, I'm going to say who you should get. So we have Timerion, we have Uru. Right here we have Galante, Violet, Chocolove. Chocolove is out. He's not that important. From here, I would get Galante. He's arguably, I think he's better than Violet. He's also used in more breeding combinations, I think. But Violet is also going to be used in breeding combinations. So you honestly want both of them. But Galante is the way to go. He's phenomenal. He's one of the best magic monsters in the game. Moving on to the next one, we have Dr. Hazard, Lagercon, and Pixelian, however you say his name. Don't get anyone here, honestly. Dr. Hazard is available in the Futuristic Maze, and these two monsters aren't that great. So yeah, just skip that one entirely. Ooh, now we have a really good one. Akhenotep, Layeth, and Quinn. I say forget about Quinn. Get Layeth if you're in need of a light attacker. He's super good. He's the best light attacker in the game. And get Mummy Dude over here if you're in need of a deny monster who's dark. He's one of the best monsters, one of the best dark monsters in the game, to be honest. I know I haven't made my top dark monster list, but he's definitely up there. Next we have Sir Slumberly, Cyan, and Gulen. I'd say the only monster worth getting is Cyan. These two monsters aren't needed, so Cyan here. And then we have MMOnster, Vanoss, and Erebus. Honestly, I don't think any of these monsters are worth getting. Yes, MMO can be used for beating the boss battles a lot easier, but again, if Timerion is on sale, I would say get Timerion. He's a lot easier to use. None of these monsters I would say are worth getting. Moving on to the next one. Also, none of these monsters are worth getting. No one special here. Moving on to the next one. Super easy. Get Voltaik. Number one priority. You should be getting Voltaik. If you have extra gems and you want, ROFL is also a really good monster in terms for denying. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the next one. Judgement, Tyros, Luxe. Again, Luxe super good if you need supportive. Tyros super good if you need a fire attacker. Judgement super good if you need a nature attacker. So, oh, hard to say here. Normally, I'd probably say get Judgement just because the nature element is one of the weakest element, especially in terms of team war, and he can give your team a competitive advantage by being a really strong attacker who can heal himself. So I would say get Judgement. Oh wow, right here, this one's easy. Get Roasty. The reason you want Roasty is because he's the only nature monster that has an AoE stun move. So again, like I said just like a few seconds ago, nature monsters are really weak, but having a monster that can AoE stun, that is phenomenal. You want him over everyone else. Moving on to here, Monster Clutch, Slender Hair, Draza. I don't think you need anyone. Draza is a good metal attacker, but if Metalhead becomes available, I'd probably get Metalhead earlier. But yeah, I personally don't think you need anyone. If you had to pick, you'd probably get Draza over anyone else. Moving on, Noctum. No, I wouldn't say. I'd probably get Lilisha. She's like a master manipulator with all her possession skills. She's really good. Definitely get her. Next we have Firestorm, Malaire, Dr. Vicktor. I would say get Malaire. He's really good. Firestorm, he's a pretty good attacker, to be honest. The bad thing about him are his high cooldowns and his like 50% chance to burn. So that's what I don't like about him. But he does boast a high strength, 3,575. So that's reason enough to get him if you don't have fire monsters. But there's plenty of good options. Darmith is in team shop. Just buy a few Darmiths if you can. So yeah, I'd probably say get Malaire. Dr. Vicktor though, he's lightning. And the reason I didn't say get him is because most people like to run Voltaik on their team. But Dr. Vicktor he has an AoE stun move, which again, that's super useful. Pair him up, give him all speed runes and an AoE stun, and you're good to go. So maybe you might want to consider Dr. Vicktor if you don't have Voltaik, or if you need another Thunder monster and are tired of using Voltaik. He'd probably be good. So Malaire or Dr. Vicktor. Right here, oh my gosh, this is like a perfect pack. I would say buy all of them. So 525 gems, get them all. They're all really good in their own right. Anton specifically, he's a really good water attacker, which is rare. We don't see much of him. However, you could even put in Team Wars, specifically for Team Wars, you could give him all speed runes, and he's the fastest water monster, with the exception of Blob. Blob is faster, but he's the fastest water monster, meaning that if you and your opponent have the same runes, like let's say him versus Cavenfish, all speed runes, and let's say you have a comment on your team with team speed runes, and your opponent has the exact same stuff, your Anton will go first. The cool thing about Anton is he has a stun move and a freeze move. So no matter what, he has one target that he can hit. And the cool thing is that all water monsters except for Varna are immune to freeze. So you can hit the enemy's main deny monster with your stun skill. And then when it comes around, you can hit them with like minus 50% stamina or just something like that. So I personally think Anton is really good. Again, specifically in terms of Team War, where it's not always 3 legendaries against 3 legendaries. Where if it's like water, common, and another legendary versus your opponent's water, common, and another legendary, and your Anton, like I said, is running the exact same runes as your opponent's Cavenfish, your Anton is going to go first. You immobilize his immobilizer, so he's losing Cavenfish for 1 turn, so he won't be able to stun you or freeze you. And then you still have your other legendary monster, and you just target his cabin fish, and then next time your Anton comes around, you target his cabin fish, and hopefully you beat him. So then you mobilize one monster, because his legendary is probably going to attack your common. So yeah, Anton, he might arguably even be better than water monsters with AoE freeze when it comes to team wars, and it's not 3 legendaries against 3 legendaries. Moving on to this, I think this one's pretty easy. Get Oros. He's like the best earth monster in the game. He's one of the best monsters to put on the defensive team because of his global stomp. Whenever he gets it, he's hard to kill. He's just phenomenal. Right here, I would say you probably want to get Greedy Dragon. He's a really good fire attacker. Dracantium is also a pretty good fire attacker. High power, has a stun skill. White Walker, he's a pretty good water monster, but like there's so many water monsters out there that he's probably outclassed now. But yeah, any of those 3 is honestly good. I would personally get Greedy Dragon. Coming down here, we have really good monsters. I think you don't need Blockheart. So it's, do you want Killer Raptor or do you want Mega Ostium? I would say get Mega Ostium. He's super good. Killer Raptor, he's a good earth attacker, but Mega Ostium I think wins out. Over here, I would say get Annihilator R2. If you saw my top metal monsters, you would see that Annihilator actually placed. And then we have another combo. So many combos. Let's see. I would say get Bastet. She's really good. She's not, I mean, Darude he turned out to be not good. I don't like using him at all. And then Shihao, I don't have much experience with him. But just, I know Bastet can just do crazy stuff, like give your full team double life, give one monster 120% life, give a shield. She has an AoE stun. Yes, she has an AoE stun, which is amazing. Again, because lots of earth monsters don't have AoE stun, so she's good. Get her. This one, I would say get Master Skill, but Master Skill is going to be available in Futuristic Island, and he's actually in the 4th place, which is super easy to get. So I'm saying get Toy Master. Toy Master is an interesting magic monster. He gives a lot of effects. He's super interesting. I actually want him myself, but I don't have the gems to spend. But I would say get Toy Master. Next, oh nice. Why is it that water monsters are so good? I would say get all 3 of them. If you didn't breed Sphereness, you want to get all 3 of them. This is an amazing pack. The Blob is one of the strongest water. He is the strongest water attacker in the game. He's just super good for control too. He's phenomenal. But if you had to choose one, I would say get Kaolic. Right here, super easy. Get Krampus. Moving on, get Sarah. Again, why Sarah over Deadwolf? Sarah is the best nature monster in my opinion. And right here, get White Pandoff. White Pandoff being one of the better magic monsters in the game. So to go through everyone really quick, I'm gonna highlight the names: Timerion, Uru, Galante, Skip, Akinotep, Cyan, Skip, unless you really want Vanoss, which I know a lot of people probably do. Skip, Voltaik, Judgement, Roasted, Skip, Lilisha, Muller, or Dr. Vicktor. Get all of them. Get all of them, or just Cabinfish, Oros, Greedy Dragon, Mega Ostium, Annihilator R2, Bastet, Toy Master, all of them, or just Kaolic, Krampus, Sarah, White Pandoff. So that's it for the crazy week sells. That's who I think you should get. My voice really hurts, so I'm going to be ending it here. I hope everyone can get whoever they want to get. Good luck to everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.